Hi everybody, I'm Zilla Blitz and welcome to our campaign game with the Hunters, GMT Games game of World War II U-boat combat in the Atlantic. It's August 1941, we're in the back half of the war, or our campaign in the war at least, and I feel like every time out the odds just kind of stack up just a little bit more against us. But let's get out into the Atlantic again and give it another shot. Here we go. As always, let's do a little bit of a recap before we start out. This will be our 11th patrol. On our previous 10 patrols, we've sunk 16 ships for a grand total of 86,200 tons of sunk tonnage. Now, our goal again is to reach 100,000 tons. That will get us our first medal and also shift us into that victory kind of column in the game, if you would. Right now we're at the draw level. A couple of other things of note. This will be the first patrol for 2nd Watch Officer Klingman, who has been brought on board to replace our 1st Watch Officer McLeod, who has received his own U-boat from being promoted after our last mission. Now, of course, 2nd Watch Officer Ray is now our 1st Watch Officer, and because he is an expert, he has a potential to be promoted at the end of this patrol. So we could lose both of our expert Watch Officers by the end of this patrol. This is our 11th mission. So after our 12th mission, if 11th and 12th are successful, we will have a chance to roll for some other crew advancement. So hopefully we'll get some expert levels back or finally get our crew to advance. They're still only the trained level here, despite being out on 10 patrols. Of other note, the game 2, this campaign lasts for 46 months. In total months available to us, this is the 24th month. So we have officially completed the exact first half of the campaign, and now we get into the back half, the much more challenging half. So let's go now and see where we get assigned to patrol, or if we even perhaps get a chance to pick our patrol. Alrighty, as always, because of our rank, the Corvette and Capitan, level 3 really of the 5 ranks in the game that you can be as a captain. On the die roll of a 1 or a 2, we get to pick our patrol zone. We will pick the Atlantic Wolfpack for sure if we get it, but we'll also note that the patrol zones have changed now too. Let's roll first. A 5, no, so we have to roll to see where we end up. 5, 6, 7, 8 are all Atlantic. This is really when I think when the Battle of the Atlantic really started to heat up, and our odds for rolling a wolf pack are much higher. On a roll of a 5, we would get to be part of a roll. A wolf pack is just kind of normally determined by the die roll here. Let's see where we end up. 7, Atlantic, but not a wolf pack. Very well, off we go. I should also mention too that this will complete our 2 years of service when we finish this mission. So I believe we roll to double check to see whether it's at the completion of it or when we cross it. But very soon we're going to be rolling for promotion for us as a captain as well, which would be nice to get. But let's get started. First up, we're going to kind of head off into the Atlantic. Our patrol will go Bay of Biscay, then transit, Atlantic, 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 and then transit and Bay of Biscay. As always, I start to get nervous now as we're going through these Bay of Biscay areas, just because I feel like the chances of getting kind of caught by an aircraft just kind of keep going up here. So here we go, Bay of Biscay. We need 5 or greater, and we're still no die rolls. So we get to 19. If we get to 1942, there's a -1 die roll on this, but we're not there yet. So straight up, hoping for a big number. 8. Excellent. So we are through the Bay of Biscay. It's always a little bit, oops, sorry, we're there. And now through the Bay of Biscay into the transit zone. Transit zone a little bit less likely, hoping again for a big number. A 9, excellent, that is a big number. And off we go into the Atlantic. So let's see what we get here. Now, here, of course, we would love to get capital ship would be nice because we're loaded with torpedoes. A 2 would be good. 6 or 7 for convoy would be nice too. Those are kind of our best ones. A ship alone, a 3 would be good as well. Other than that, there's not a ton of variety out here. Let's see what we get. An 11. 11 in Atlantic is a nothing. God, that's not super exciting here. All right, let's go to our second zone. Hopefully we get at least... it'd be nice to get 2 convoy shots, or 1 really good one, I guess. A 7. There it is. Convoy. Okay, so let's set this up and roll to see what kind of encounter it is. Here we go. We're going in. All right, actually, before we shift over to the target mat, I'm going to roll to see whether it's day or night, because if it is daytime, we're going to try to follow, in which case we may lose them and continue on. So we need 4, 5, or 6 to make it to be nighttime. It's daytime. Okay, we're going to make the roll to try to switch to nighttime, which means we need a 1 to 4 for it to be nighttime. In 5 or 6, we would lose the convoy. Oh, God. Okay. Well, there we go. Not what we wanted for a result. Now we go to the next zone. Not feeling so good about that one. Okay, here we go. Maybe we should have gone in. I want to try to avoid daytime, especially early on. Let's get our third roll here. What do we get? A 9. Oh, good. A 9 is a convoy. I thought it was nothing, but I was looking at the Arctic channel, which is a little bit different. Okay, good. So now it's a convoy. Now let's set up. We are definitely going in anyway, even if it is daytime, because we don't want to risk not getting any targets here. So let's set this up. All right, so let's take a look at what we've got for targets. Then we're actually going to roll for day or night. I haven't done that yet. Unfortunately, every single roll was a 3 or less. We got 4 small freighters going across, but we did get one that was okay. So Caribou here, 2,200 tons, a small ship. Scania, 2,000 tons, a small freighter. Trevisa, 1,800 tons, another tiny small freighter. But last but not least, we drew the Empire Barracuda. Even though it's a small freighter, it's 5,000 tons. So that could be interesting. Now, we're going to roll for day or night. If it's daytime, we're still going to attack, but I think that's going to change the range. Now, I'm hoping here we can get a 4, 5, or 6. God, daytime. The rolls have not been with us so far. And I guess we rolled up 2 convoys, so it's hard to complain. But I was hoping it would be different. So we're going to change a little bit how we're going to attack then. And here's my thinking. So right now, if we just go in at medium range, which if we go in at medium range and we're submerged, and it is daytime now, I don't want to risk losing the convoy again. So if we go in at medium range and we roll, because we're using steam torpedoes in the day, there's a +1 detection modifier for it. And because it's 1941, there's another +1. So that would mean that it would be 6 or less. Now, 6 or less, you have roughly a 41% chance of making, but a 7 or less, you have a 58% chance of making. So I want to get that 7, as gamey as it sounds, I want to get that 7 in our die results to avoid detection, which means that we're going to do kind of what we did in the strategy before this. We're going to come in at long range and fire an array of torpedoes across the board, trying to damage as many of these as we can. Now, what I'm thinking we're going to do, because the Empire Barracuda is worth as much as any of the other 2 ships combined, we're going to fire 2 torpedoes at the Empire Barracuda with the realization that 1 hit could actually sink it. We're going to fire 1 torpedo at, we're going to avoid the Trevisa, which is only 1,800 tons, the smallest. We're going to fire 1 at the Caribou at 2,200 tons, and then 1 at the Scania at 2,000 tons. So let's get these going here and see how things go. Now, because we're firing at long range, it is a 6 or less. That is the only modifier that we've got, because we're firing steam torpedoes, so they don't deteriorate over range. The dud factor, again, is a 1 for the rest of the game. So let's do our smallest shots. The hope here is that we damage at least 1, or sink at least 1, so that we have a successful mission. If we damage 1, we're going to follow it, if we survive the resultant detection and whatever kind of attacks come out of that. Let's go across the board. We're going to fire at the Caribou first, hoping for a 6 or less and not a 1. Whoops, missed that. 7. Oh, I missed, and it wasn't there. Gosh, that 7 is painful. Okay, let's go to our next shot, which is at the Scania, 2,000 tons. That must be Swedish, huh? 3 and a 3. Excellent. So we have 1 hit. So that means, well, at the very least, we'll have something to follow. However, I would really like to get the Empire Barracuda at these 5,000 tons, hoping that one of these 2 hits. Something. 5 and a 5. Excellent. Second hit. It's kind of roughly what we can expect, huh? With 4 shots at 40% chance. And our last shot, now if we hit this, it would be a guaranteed sinkage on this one. Ah, bugger, went wide. So, okay, nevertheless, we have 2 hits. 1 hit on the Scania and 1 hit on the Empire Barracuda. Let's see how we do. So here's our attack damage chart. On a 1, 2, or 3, we would sink it because we would get 2 damage points or more. Anything higher than a 3, and we would just damage it and half sink it. So let's get our first roll here on the Scania, hoping for a 4, 5, or 6. God, 3. Okay, so we damaged it. This is the big one, though. We want the Empire Barracuda. Let's get that. I'm gonna keep the same die. Let's get a 4, 5, or 6. Ah. Okie dokie. So, we've damaged the 2 small freighters. Now we go to escort detection. Here is our big roll, and I think we can roll right into this because we're kind of getting used to what's going on here. Normally it is an 8 or less, but 1941 now, so we add 1 to the die roll, and we use G7 torpedoes during the day, so we add another 1 to the die roll. However, because we're attacking at long range, we subtract 1 from the die roll. Now, we could exceed test depth, which would give us another 1, but I'm not going to do that. We're just going to hope that we get a 7 or less to get undetected. Oh, God. 11. And wait a second. Is that right? So 11, we're adding 1 to the die roll, which is a 12, which means it's a detected and a +1 attack die roll modifier. Okay. So not only did they detect us, they really detected us. This escort has got its act together. This feels kind of ominous now. Okay, so we're going to slide over into the escort air attack chart, and we get a +1 modifier here because we rolled +12 on detection. Other than that, nothing else. We're hoping for a nice low roll. We don't want a big roll here. 7 + 1 is 8. Okay, so we get 2 hits. That's not too bad. Now we're going to have to escape. So let's set up the damage here as we go into this. All right, so the escorts drop their first depth charge. We read the black number first to get a 2-digit number here. We get a 36, which is the deck gun. That's kind of a bummer here. So, because if we do get a chance to follow these ships, it'd be nice to be able to use the deck gun to finish them off. Hopefully, there we go. Now, a couple people have asked questions saying that they noticed that we fired our deck gun after one of our guns was hit. That was our flak gun, and the flak gun and the deck gun are 2 different things. We have both of those up top here. So our deck gun is damaged. Hopefully Engineer Mahler can fix that if we need it. Our second thing is a 33. The hull. Bugger. So we get 1 hit on the hull, which will add 1 month to our refit at the very least. So now we go to the next round of detection. Let's go. I'm going to take a second to make sure I get the calculations right. Alrighty, so let's go in and do this. So normally we're at 8 or less for detection. Because it's 1941 and we were previously detected and we use steam torpedoes during the day, it's now +3 to that. However, we lose 1 because it was long range, which makes it +2. And now we're going to actually exceed test depth, which does 1 hull damage to us, and makes it only +1, which would get us back down to needing a 7 or less. However, because our hull damage now is at 2, we have to roll 2 dice and be above that to not damage the hull even more, which is a 5, which is okay. So we've been able to successfully exceed test depth, putting us at 2 hull damage. Now our escort detection, which we want to keep at there, is a 7 or less. So hoping we can get out of here without any further damage. Oh, good lord, a 9. Okay, a 9 + 1 is 10, which means we are detected and it is normal. Let's see how many hits they get again. Oh, God. 10 is 3 hits. God, this escort is just all over us. So we take... There's no plus modifier there, right? No, there isn't. Okay, so it is 3 hits. Let's roll for these now. Again, black die is first. 53 is a crew injury. We'll roll for what that is momentarily. Let's get the other ones up here first. A 44 is flooding. Okay, so that comes in. We'll have to try to stop that afterwards. And then we get 1 more roll. A 34. 34 is another crew injury. So let's roll for our 2 crew injuries here. Hoping that... hoping it's generic crew, really, I think. 6 to 9 is kind of what we want here. 8. Good. So it's crew injury. Now we have to roll to see what it is. Light wound, severe wound, or killed in action. 3. Light wounds. Okay. That's not too bad, all things considered. Let's hope we can have some equal luck on this next one. Rolling 2 dice again. We get a 6. Another crew injury. Okay. So let's see what happens with that one. And 6 killed. Oof. So a devastating depth charge. Puts some serious damage. We lose a number of crew members here. I think that might be the first time we've had someone killed since our very first patrol. Okay, so those are our 3 hits. However, we have to now make that roll for flooding damage to see if it increases or not, right? Because it's right at the end of this round. Let me just check here. Yes, of course. So we roll again now. On a 1 to 4, the flooding has stopped. Come on, Engineer Mahler, do your job. Nope. Additional flooding. So now we're up to 2 on the flooding mark. Now let's go back up and do our next round of detection. Now, okay, the question is, do we try to exceed test depth again? I think we are going to do that. Which means that we once again have to roll that roll. We need to roll a 3 or higher. If we roll a 2, it would be our hull implodes and we all die. We would have to use our lucky charm here. Hopefully we don't have to use that. Hoping for a 4 or more. A 10. Okay, good. So this time we've successfully, once again, successfully exceeded test depth, which gives us that extra die roll modifier. So +3 for them, -2 for us, means that we need a 7 or less to escape detection. Come on, let's get out of here. Yes. Is that a 4? Yes, it is. Okay. Excellent. We are out. Okay, so now we want to clear out the flooding. So the flooding is gone, and that's all bad. Our hull is somewhat damaged. We can now chase these ships, but first of all, let's see if we can fix the deck gun. To fix our deck gun, we send Engineer Mahler up on top of the U-boat as it's resurfaced after we gain some distance from the escorts there. A deck gun is tough to fix. We need a 1 or 2 to fix it. Come on, Engineer Mahler, we could really use this deck gun. Yes! Engineer Mahler, you're awesome! Wonderful. Our deck gun is fully operable, and now let's go finish these ships off. Alrighty, here we go. So, in this case, when we're following 2 or more damaged ships, we can, the following is automatically successful, and we can choose whether it's day or night. So we are going to automatically choose night, of course. That's going to make sense. Now, on a roll of a 1 to 4, the damaged ships stay together and are still considered under escort. Normal combat rules apply. On a 5 or a 6, any damaged ships become an unescorted straggler, and we can pick which one we'd want to go after, in which case we'll definitely go after number 4, the Empire Barracuda. Now, I think 3 times we've done this, and 3 times we've gotten a 5 or 6. Let's see if our luck holds up here and we get another 5 or a 6. We want them to split up, and we want to take out the Empire Barracuda. Give us that 5 or a 6. Okay, so that doesn't happen, which means that we are escorted, but it's going to be night, and we are going to come in. We have 4 steam torpedoes. We can't use our deck gun. I think the answer is going to be coming in at medium range. I'm going to think through this, and then we'll come back, though. I'll just give me a second. Alrighty, yes, I think our decision's pretty straightforward. We're going to come in at medium range, submerged. We're coming in at night, so they don't get that extra detection on our steam torpedoes, which we reloaded with steam, by the way. We're going to fire 2 at each, hoping that we really can finish one of these off, because again, we've only got 1 patrol zone after this, which may or may not have ships in it, so I feel like it's worthwhile to use our torpedoes to try to sink 1 ship so that we have a successful mission. Now, at this type of setup here with the escorts present, our detection roll is going to be a 7 or less, which I feel is kind of that comfort zone. So, let's fire away first at the Scania, the 2,000-ton Scania. We got 2 shots. Let's fire 1. Hope for just 1 hit, but that's not a dud. Would definitely sink it. Fire 1. A 6 and a 1. Oh, bugger. It's a dud. So we hit, but it's a dud. Fire 2. A 10 and a 3. The good torpedo misses. So we do not have any luck with the Scania there. Bummer. I feel like the odds were pretty good we're going to get both of these. Okay. Firing now at the Empire Barracuda. This is the bigger one too, though. I mean, 5,000 tons. If we're going to miss, I'd rather miss the Scania, but hopefully get one here. Fire 3. Yes! 4 and a 2. So we get a hit, and it's not a dud, and that will finish it off just for the sake of tallying history's records here. Let's fire that 4th torpedo. Fire 4. 5 and a 3. We hit, and it is not a dud. So it's pretty much automatic. We kind of blow the Empire Barracuda out of the water here because we're going to do a lot of damage, I think. Oh my gosh. Why couldn't we get the 1s on the last attack? So 1 does 4 damage. We do 8 damage, and all we needed 1. So this, I think you could say, is a clear shattering of the Empire Barracuda, which goes to the bottom of the ocean, giving us another 5,000 tons of damage. And if we can survive this one and get out of here, another successful mission. So the bigger question now, though, is what happens with our escort. Our escort detection, normally an 8 or less, it gets a +1 modifier, because it is 1941, and that is the only modifier. We're not going to do anything else here. And so they don't get the modifier with the G7 torpedo during the day because it was nighttime. So we need a 7 or less. Let's get out of here. 6! Yes! Excellent! Oh, I'm happy about that, because with that 3 hull damage, I was a little bit nervous that this could be kind of tricky if that escort gets on top of us again. And that escort did seem to be particularly determined in that last attack. So that wraps this one up. Let's now shift to our patrol zone and go to our 4th zone and see if we can get something else here. Alrighty, to our last patrol zone we go, and we will roll here to see what we get. Just going to move some stuff around. It'd be nice to get another convoy, I suppose. I'm a little bit worried about our hull damage, but we can see. You know what I think we'd do is, if we get one and it's nighttime, we'll go in. If it's daytime, we're going to wait till nighttime. Unless, we'll see what the targets are. We'll roll. Let's just stop talking. 6. Atlantic is a convoy. Okay, so let's see if it is day or night. If it's day, we're going to wait till nighttime anyway. So 1 to 3, it's day. 4, 5, or 6, it's nighttime. It's day. We're going to wait. Actually, I'm going to roll the ships up and then decide whether we're going to wait till nighttime or not. Okay, so what I did was I rolled up to see what ships were in there, and my thinking is, there's actually, I've been looking at the ship targets in the game, right? And there's one ship target here, and I'll show it on the screen. If you get a large freighter and you roll a 34, you get the Empress of Britain, which is 42,300 tons, which is massive. It was actually, I looked it up online. It's really cool because it was a cruise ship that was converted that was put into service with, and it was actually sunk. So if we did roll something like that, like a massive ship, then I think we would try to risk it and go in during the day. We did get, I think, something over 10,500 tons, but nothing super enticing. So instead of risking it during the day, we are going to try to wait tonight. So on a 1 to 4, we wait. And when you follow a convoy and you try to switch to night, you have to re-roll the targets anyway. So we wouldn't get to keep the same shift. So that's why I wanted to see what they were before we made that decision. But I did that off camera to speed things up, hoping we get a 1 to 4 so we could follow and don't lose the convoy here. 3, excellent. Okay, so now I'll roll the ships up, and I think we're going in because it's nighttime, and we'll have a little bit better chance here. So let's get this going. Alrighty, we have some interesting targets here. We rolled 3 6s, so we have 3 tankers, and then we got a large freighter. So the last attack we had was all against small targets, small freighters, and we had a lot of torpedoes. Now we have only 4 torpedoes left in our U-boat, and we get 4 large targets, and some pretty good ones too. We get the Den Haag, which is at 9,000 tons tanker, so that's going to be 3 hits. We have Gustav E. Reuter, which is a large freighter at 6,300 tons. The Italia, another tanker, at 10,000 tons, which means it's 4 hit points. And then the Fern at 6,600 tons. I'm sorry, I'm going to switch one thing here too, because I realize this is bigger. And I'm just going to double check to the tonnage on that one. I thought the Fern was 6,000, but I wrote down 6,600. So let's just make sure that we got that right here. Yeah, 6,600. So that is correct. Okay, so what we're going to do then is we're going to fire... Let me get this all sorted out here. We're going to do another array. We're going to do 2 torpedoes at the Den Haag, which is 9,000 tons. Hopefully we could get that on a 1 or a 2. If we hit with a torpedo and it's not a dud, a 1 or a 2 would sink it. So that gives us a 1 in 3 chance of sinking that. Likewise, we're going to go after the Fern at 6,600 tons. One of these hits and goes through, again, a 1 or a 2 would sink it. So hoping we can sink something, hoping we can damage something, maybe follow and get an unescorted attack, but we'll see how it goes. Of course, we still have to survive detection there too. So with all that being said and done, let's fire our torpedoes. Normally they are 7 or less, but however, we're firing G7 electric torpedoes, which are a little bit less accurate. We add 1 to the die roll. So even though we've come into medium range, once again, we need 6s or less. The electric torpedoes' dud rates are down to 1, so that's all good and well. So we need 6 or less and avoid a 1 to have them hit. Let's fire first on the Den Haag, target number 1. Hoping for 2 hits would be awesome. It'd be nice to sink this one. Oh, nice. A 5 and a 6. So we get 1 hit already on the Den Haag. It'd be nice to get a second hit because that could potentially sink that one. Let's get a second hit here. Fire 2. 8 and it's a dud. So it missed and it's a dud, which, well, that's okay. If they're going to miss, it's good that they're a dud. So this one is out of play. Let's get now our 2 shots at the Fern. Fire 3. 4 and a 5. Excellent. We got another hit. Good. And our torpedo room is doing well today. I think this must be Second Watch Officer Klingman, who's new, but he's showing a lot of promise here. Fire 4. 8 and a 2. So that one goes wide. Still, 2 shots and 2 hits here. Now we need a little bit of luck, right? Because let's take a look at the damage chart. We need 3 hits to sink them. If we roll a 1, we get 4 damage. On a 2, we get 3 damage. So we need a 1 or a 2 to sink these, both the same rolls. Anything else will damage it to a certain degree. Let's get the roll here first against the 9,000-ton Den Haag. Let's give us... Now, if we get a 1... Oh, this is really big, right? Because, just to entertain me for a second, we sunk a 5,000-ton ship already, which gives us 91,200 tons. So if we sink this ship, we would get 100,000 tons total for the game and shift into the victory column in the game. And we would get, I think it's the Knight's Cross, which is our first medal. So this is a big roll. We're hoping for a 1 or a 2. Come on, dice roll gods. Give it to us. Let's go. Come on. I haven't asked for too many rolls in this mission. You haven't been all that nice to us. Give me a 1 or a 2. Ah, God, a 4 is only 1 damage. Okay, fine, dice roll gods. Now we get the one on the Fern, 6,600 tons. Watch, this is, of course, this one's going to be a 1 or a 2. I called it. I totally called it. Which is good. Okay, I'm not totally bitching. It would have been nice to sink the other one, though, because a 1 does 4 damage, which means that 1 torpedo hit in a devastating location. The Fern explodes and fractures in 2 and sinks to the bottom of the ocean, giving us 6,600 tons of damage. 11,600 for the patrol so far. But now, of course, the most important role is our detection. So nothing here matters. We could exceed test depth, but we're not going to. The escorts are on. There's no wolf pack involved in here. Normally we need an 8 or less, but because it is 1941, we need a 7 or less. So hoping we can get out of here and then follow this target, and maybe it'll be unescorted again. Come on, give us 7 or less. Oh, God. 10 plus 1 is 11. Okay. So it is detected. That means here we go again. So we have no dice roll modifiers on this hit. Let's see how many times we suffer depth charge hits here. Now give us something low. 7. 2 hits. Okay. So let's shift mats here and get this going. Alrighty, so we get 2 hits of damage. Here is our first roll. Again, the black roll is the first digit. Black die. 64. Forward torpedo door. Well, I'll tell you what. That's, at this point in the mission, I will take the forward torpedo door being hit any time because we don't have any more torpedoes in the front. So that's fortunate. 64 forward torpedo door. Let's get our second one. Keeping up the good luck here. 55 never feels like a good number. Hull. Ah, God. Okay, so that's an extra month. But I think our rank is going to shorten that if we are 3 months. So our hull is hit and our forward torpedo door is hit. Not a problem so far. And the scope of damage and what could happen, I will take that for sure. However, now we go to detection again. And the die roll is normally an 8 or less because it's 1941. It's a 7 or less. But because we were previously detected, it is a 6 or less. And I don't think we want to risk going to exceed hull damage because we're starting to get into the place where we could really blow ourselves up. We could crush the hull here. So we're going to take our risk here. We're going to hope we get a 6 or less. Come on, let's get out of here. Who's our first watch officer? Officer Ray, come on. Find us a way out here. 6 or less. Let's go. Oh, God, a 7. Okay, so we are detected. 6 plus 2 is 9. Okay, so how many hits do we get again? Rolling once more here. Nice low number. Okay, so is there any other modifiers here? There are not. We get 4 hits. Okay, it's starting to get a little bit grim here. I'm not liking the 4 hull damage. Here we go. We got 4 die rolls to survive here. 44. Okay, that's flooding. Okay, good. That feels like with no flooding damage here, that's not a bad roll for us. That's 1 down. 3 more to go. 15. Don't be the hull. Dive planes. That's bad. Dive planes is very bad because the dive planes give us modifiers that we can not do. I think maybe these are them. I'm not quite sure, but we'll run with it. So that's not a good one. Okay, maybe Mahler can help us out. 14 is the periscope. Now that's going to create some problems, I think, too. So, gosh, they're hitting all these things they've never hit before. All right, let's go to our last roll here. 45. The hull. So our hull's at 5 damage. 6, 7, 8. Okay, I'm going to figure out what happens because of our dive planes. That's a modifier, and see what if the periscope matters too. We have to escape detection again. All right. It's getting kind of grim here. So this actually, I think, is the dive planes. This is the hydrophones here. So we've got that there. The periscope only means that we can't conduct submerged attacks if we get out of here. So hopefully we could fix that. But that's, I think, of secondary concern now. It's getting a little grim here because normally it's an 8 or less. We've been previously detected, so it's a 7 or less. It's 1941, so it's a 6 or less. And now our dive planes are out, so it's a 5 or less. Come on, First Officer Ray. First, what? Get us out of here. 5 or less. This is starting to get ugly. We've only got 3 more hull hits. Oh, goodness. Okay, so 12 or more is an additional +1 to the attack roll die modifier. So we're going to add 1 here. Okay, rolled a +2 on that. Yeah, it gives us 1 more. So we roll for the number of hits, and we add 1 to this die roll. Good Lord. Okay, we need something low here. 4. Okay, that's not bad. A 5. Okay, good. So that's 1 hit. Whew, that 4 was helpful. We need that on the escape detection now. But let's roll for the hit, hoping not for something catastrophic here. I think there is a no effect, but we've never gotten that, have we? I don't see one there. Okay, first one is the 26. Oh, nice. Okay, so the 26, this is one we made a mistake on before, is the 3.7 centimeter flat gun. But the flat gun on our U-boat is a 2 centimeter flat gun, so that actually is the no effect roll. That means nothing happens because we don't have that item on our U-boat. It's no effect. Okay, so for that round, that actually, for the devastating stuff that happened, that wasn't too bad. So, okay. Now let's see if we can escape detection again. Once again, dive planes out, 1941, previously detected. We're adding 3 to our die roll. We need a 5 or less. Come on, First Officer Ray, get us out of here. Yes! Oh, we made it! Okay, we're out. Thank goodness. I was getting nervous there. We've only got 3 spaces left on our hull here. It's getting kind of nerve-wracking. Okay, so let's see if we can fix the stuff that's broken here. Let's start with the dive planes. That's actually fairly important because that puts us at a severe disadvantage. They're hard to fix. So we need a 1 or a 2 to fix them. Come on, Engineer Mahler. Let's fix these dive planes for us. Give us some of your excellent work. Yes! Nice! Dive planes fixed. All right, let's go to which... Oops, sorry. Knocking this all over the place. Let's go to our forward torpedo doors, which really don't matter. Mahler, you don't have to fix these. 1 or a 2 is fine. 1 or 2 doesn't matter. Oh my goodness, he's just on fire. He fixed the torpedo doors too. Now, this one's actually important. Would you please fix the telescope? Because if we do catch up to the tanker and it's escorted, we're probably going to need our periscope for submerged attack. So we really need this if we're going to attack it. Give us a 1 to 4. Mahler! My goodness, the man brought his toolbox today. 3 successful repair rolls. Standing ovation for Engineer Mahler today. Gosh, he should get expert advancement just for that. Okay, so now we can go follow this thing and see if we can sink this tanker. Let's see if we can get this done. Alrighty, so we are following, we sunk that one, that's gone. We're following the Den Haag. this is where we could really use that roll of a 5 or a 6 again. Because if we could get the 5 or 6, we can come. That means the escort is gone. We can come in. We can use our deck gun and our remaining torpedo in the aft, and have a good chance that we could sink it. But if we get a 1 or a 4, it's going to be under escort, which means we're going to have to come in and we're going to get 1 torpedo shot at it. And given how badly damaged we are with the hull, I'm thinking we might want to pass. So it's going to be nighttime though. So first up, okay, here we go. Let's make the big roll. Give us a 5 or a 6. Yes! Sweet! That is nice. All right. Which means it is nighttime. Which means, and a 5 means the escort. We can pick when it is day or night. So of course we're picking night. Escort's gone. It doesn't matter against unescorted. We're going to come in on the surface. Doesn't really matter because we can use our deck gun. Well, it does matter actually. We want to be surfaced, and it is nighttime. We're going to come in at close range, and let's unleash some of this deck gun ammo here. So we get 2 shots at the tanker. Let's set up our numbers. Just got to get the right chart out here. Make sure I'm looking at it. Okay, close range. Now, if we get 2 hits, we would sink this, and that again would get us over that 100,000 tons. I feel like we're knocking on the door here. Now, there is nothing else that we need to modify. We'll still be able to fire our aft torpedo, which is the only torpedoes we have left. We have 2 in the aft. Okay, enough babbling. Let's get it. 8 or less. Come on, deck gunner. Who is our deck gunner? That'd probably be our first watch officer. Ray, give us our shots here. 9. We missed it. Second shot. 6. Okay, so we got 1 hit. All is not lost because on the deck gun, the damage here is on a roll. It's not that good, is it? We need a roll of 1 basically to sink it. On a 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6, we only get 1 damage. Oh! Dice roll gods, thank you. A 1 is 2 damage, which means the Den Haag goes to the bottom of the ocean with our deck gun, scoring a particularly deadly hit. That gives us over 100,000 tons. So unless we get sunk and they capture the U-boat, which is an automatic defeat, we will have moved from the draw category into the victory category. We've got 3 ships sunk now, and 9,000 more tons go to the bottom of the ocean. We will leave the Den Haag a sinking hulk, and let's head for home. All right, so we leave the 4th patrol zone. Let us head to the transit zone. We really kind of need to make it through these okay, because we've only got, again, 3 hull hits left to hit, and it's not a lot of wiggle room here. So first up, try to get through the transit zone. We need a big roll. 11, that's a big roll for sure. A 12 actually would be a ship. Huh, I never saw that before. Oh, actually, a first 12 on any roll is a random encounter, so it would not be a ship, it would be a random encounter. Okay, so we're through there. Now the harder one, which is the Bay of Biscay. I feel like the U-boats should have been left in Germany because it was easier. It feels like it's hard to get through the Bay of Biscay all the time here. But anyway, okay, last die roll, we need this. Get us through 5 or better. Oh, God, no. Okay. 4 is an aircraft. Okay, let's stay positive here. We can do a crash dive. Let's set up the aircraft account. So this actually is a fairly straight up roll. There are no die roll modifiers that apply to us. Because it's 1941, there's no die roll modifier. If we had not fixed our dive planes, it would have been a -1 die roll modifier, so that's good. But everything else is pretty straight up for us. The roll we need is a 6 or greater to successfully crash dive, which we have not yet done. So we have been training on this between missions. We've taken the crew out and worked on the crash dives because twice we've been attacked by aircrafts, I believe, and both times we've been unable to crash dive. So we've been practicing this. I'm hopeful that we can get through this. We really don't want to suffer an aircraft attack right now. 6 or more, please. Let's get through this. 7! Yes, we just made it. Okay. I felt like that was really important. So we have avoided this we have successfully crashed dive. We evade the aircraft encounter, and we are out of here. I just want to check one thing real quick. Right. Okay, so the one thing I wanted to check was whether we fire flak when we do a crash dive, and you do not. So we don't fire flak at the aircraft. Okay, so that was nice to avoid that. Aircraft can be particularly deadly, which means you're safe and back in port. That was a crazy one. I thought we were in real trouble there when they're going after us. Let's wrap this one up. Let's check our submarine and refit it, and got some promotions to possibly work with, and there's a lot of things happening here. So let's go sort out what actually happened here. There's a lot to do. Okay, there's quite a bit of stuff to do here. So let's go through things one at a time. First up, let's summarize our patrol here. This was a good one for us because our 11th patrol, we sank 3 ships, the Empire Barracuda at 5,000 tons, the Den Haag at 9,000 tons, and then the Fern at 6,600 tons, which gives us a total of 20,600 tons and 19 ships sunk over our 11 patrols so far. Most importantly, the 20,600 tons gives us 106,800 tons, which pushes us past the draw category in the game into that, I think it's marginal victory category. So we're not losers, we haven't tied, we would win unless the one way you absolutely get defeat is if your U-boat is captured. And that can happen by you get sunk and you aren't successfully able to scuttle it, in which case the Allies get the Enigma machine that's in your U-boat, and that's considered a loss. So we could still lose the game by doing that. But if we were to get sunk right now, our victory is determined by our tonnage, and we would be in that victory category. So I actually probably should put some torpedoes back in it while we're looking at these things here now. So that is good, and we can refit our U-boat here. Now, we do have some damage to look at. Engineer Mahler was so incredibly awesome with his wrenches and toolbox this time that we actually don't have any problems still, despite having a lot of systems get broken on the way. We managed to fix them all. So that doesn't add anything to our refit. However, what does add to our refit here is that we have 5 sections of hull damage. Now the first, any fraction of 3 add a month, so that means our refit goes from 1 month to 2 months, and then 2 months to 3 months, because we're into that second tier of hull damage there. However, because we're a Corvette and Capitan rank 3, a refit of 3 to 4 months gets shortened by 1 month. So that means that our refit is going to be 2 months. So we will be in harbor here at the U-boat pens for September and October of 1941, and we'll go back out into the ocean in November of 1941. So will be 2 months instead of 3 months, which is good. So a little bit longer than the 1 month refit, but all things considered, yeah, we'll take that. Considering where we were halfway through patrol and I thought we were going to be done for, I'll take a 2 month refit anytime. Now this crew section is gone. They'll be replaced by new crews, and light wounds there, I think they're just replaced basically. We don't have to worry about the crew returns there. Now we do have one other thing to roll here. First Watch Officer Ray, because he is an expert and has completed a patrol, at the end of every patrol we have to roll to see whether he gets a U-boat of his own. As much as I'd be happy to see him get a U-boat of his own, I don't want to lose our expert watch officer. So I'm hopeful that we actually keep him and we don't lose him there. So let's roll here, though, and see what happens. On a roll of a 6, he gets his own U-boat. 3. Oh, so he doesn't get his own U-boat. Sorry that you're unable to get promoted, but yet thankful that you'll be with us on our next mission, Officer Ray. Now, of more importance, not of more importance, but of equal importance here, the 100,000 tons of sunk damage gives us our first medal. We get, as a commander, the Knight's Cross, which is good because I think that gives us some die roll modifiers in certain situations. Now, the way we go to the next level to get a Knight's Cross with, I want to say, oak leaves on it. And now I think the rules actually mention that 125 U-boat commanders in World War II received this Knight's Cross. So it's a nice commendation to get, but not extremely unusual. The next level would be the oak leaves, and the way we get that is to go up to 175,000 tons of shipping, or we sink a capital ship. Either one of those two things would trigger the next level. Only 29 U-boat commanders in the war got the Knight's Cross with oak leaves. So that's our next level, but we have gotten the Knight's Cross, which I think there might be a couple places where it gives us a die roll modifier in our favor, which is good. Now, the other thing that we have to roll for, because it's been 2 years of service, is our promotion. And interestingly enough, that normally is a roll of a 1 to 4. However, there are die roll modifiers that influence this. One is if you get the Knight's Cross in the span of the year that you were out, which we just did. So I just want to double check on this to make sure that we're getting all of this right. Because we got the Knight's Cross, we get a -1 die roll modifier. And then for every 10 ships sunk during the 12-month period, and we sank, let's see, 12. Yeah, we sank 12 ships instead of 10, so that gives us a further -1 die roll modifier, which means that all we need is to roll the die. So, a 4, which is good, because that gives us -2, which is a 2. So instead of a Corvette, instead of a Korvettenkapitan, we are promoted to a Fregattenkapitan. And the bonus that gives us is all of the previous bonuses of the Korvettenkapitan, except when we roll for a patrol, we can pick our own patrol on a die roll of 1 to 3, which is good. So that will give us a 50% chance that we're picking our own patrol zones going forward, which means that we can pick more wolf packs, which is a good thing. I think that's all we had to talk about for this one. That's everything. We've done our promotion attempt for Officer Ray. He stays with us. We have been promoted to Fregattenkapitan. We got the Knight's Cross. We're into the victory level. We've refitted the U-boat. We know it's going to be 2 months. It brings us to the end. That was an exciting one. I felt like that was a lot of fun. I feel like that was a good time. So, and it's getting, I can feel though, it's getting closer and closer and hairier to kind of the tough times here. The next patrol will be our last patrol in 1941. Things get harder in 1942 because we're going to have at least a 1 month refit. So if we survive November 1941, we'll be into 1942 after that. The dice roll modifiers get worse for us after that. A lot worse. So, and I think there is an option now where we could actually shift to a newer U-boat. But I don't think there's a difference, too much of a difference really between the model that we have, and I think it's a Type 7C or D. We have to stay within our type class. We have to stay within the Type 7. And I'm feeling like to shift U-boats right now would be asking for bad luck. I feel like U-86, let me know what you think down in the comments, but I feel like U-86 has been really lucky, and I don't want to give it up to somebody else. I want to keep it because I think it would be asking for trouble to switch to a new U-boat. Now, we would take everybody with us if we get a new U-boat, we can request it, but yeah, I don't think the advantages are all that big. I think you might get a little bit more deck ammo or something like that, or something. I'll check as before this one and next patrol and see what it looks like, but yeah, I'm thinking we kind of want to stay with this. I feel like it'd be really bad. Anyway, I'm mumbling. I feel like it'd be a really bad omen to try to shift. So, that brings us to the end of this mission. If you've enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new, please consider subscribing. As well, about 40% of the content on the channel is wargames or historical gaming content. We will be back for our 12th mission in November of 1941 in a few days. Making progress in the back half of the war here, but boy, yeah, it's getting hairy. Comments, ideas, thoughts are always welcome down below, and we'll see you on our next mission. Have a great rest of the weekend, everybody. Thanks for watching.